today's store we'll be looking at
Hello everyone. So, Fish Keeping Jamaica has apparently got a fish room tour series going on. Well, I'm not really going to do a fish room tour at Max Fish Room today. I'm still in the progress of reorganising things after being living away for quite a while and just having it ticking over. But I thought I would go through a tank tour and just show you where one of my favourite Blackwater tanks is sitting at, and discuss a little bit about why I prefer to stay with a purpose-built Blackwater system that's been designed to pretty much take care of itself, do the basic water changes, keep the feeding up, and I just keep adding leaf litter, and that's about it. So, the tank. I have tried a simple imitation of a dark water South American ecosystem. It's not a true biotope, just an ecosystem. I enjoy doing it because you get harmony and interaction with various species when they're in more of their natural habitat. You see colours pop out of them with the tannins in the water, and also in the way in which it's set up you see more natural behaviour. For example, having fluoro pink pebbles versus, well, a natural mullen base ecosystem, driftwood rock, Java moth, not Java fern, and well, even Anubias growing out of the water. This tank itself is quite simple. It's only a 50 gallon. It's got a sponge filter up in the back corner running it, and driftwood everywhere, as you can see. And I put quite a lot of leaf litter in this tank, just dried oak leaves, and that's it. As you can see, that's quite a bit of build-up of organic matter on the bottom. Parameters still test out perfectly, nothing has changed, nothing is wrong. I just do the usual water changes, 10% each week, feed, and well, it is what it is. It's all happy. I have been thinking to myself that I could do with a little bit more colour, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a bit of size I need, something a little bit bigger. I know there are some decent sized cats in here, which we could potentially get out with a little bit of feeding, but it isn't quite the time of day for their feeding, and they're generally more of a nocturnal one. So I won't bother trying to get them out because they more than likely won't come out. So beyond a bit of colour, what more could you ask for on a tank? It's a balanced ecosystem. You get to see the natural characteristics of the various species, and it's a natural piece of nature. So that's really why I don't like to say go with what you see with a lot of other tanks. Just, it is what it is for me. I like the natural look. Oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, all sorts. They're not all perfectly clear, nice looking systems. There's a little bit of stuff some might say should be vacuumed out. I'm yet to ever see any issues, and it's no different to being in the wild. But there's not the amount of water turnover and filtration as in the wild system. Bacteria is still in there. Testing keeps coming back fine, so there is no real need for me to panic. And I've been watching this tank for a very long time, testing it, and the same with quite a lot of the other Blackwater fish tank keepers. They find the same. Once the ecosystems are up and running, they work very well. So for me, I like to keep it natural, and we are keeping nature. So why not keep nature as it's intended to be, natural and the way it is? Now I know for some they might not like a darker tank. It might not be for everyone's palatability. Well, one of the benefits I've got is very little algae because of it. And of course the snail shells don't tend to do too well in this water, which is a big bonus for me. But let's say you want a nice clear tank. Well, there are many other options. You could go for, say, guppies, platies, some of the swordtails. You can go for your African cichlids. You've got the Tanganyikans, Malawians and Victorians, and the list goes on. There's plenty of options out there, and quite a lot of these fish I'm keeping here happily go in a clear tank. I just find that when they're in their more natural environment, well, they're happy. Like, for example, pencils in here, they're just perfect. I see great colouring from them, good shoaling. They were particularly more happy now that that Anubius is out of the water, and it works. That's the main thing about fish keeping. It's not just necessarily about what you as the fish keeper want to have and do. A lot of it's also got to do with the fact of we are keeping the fish, so we also need to keep them and look after them. And what better way to do it than to try and imitate exactly what their natural habitat is. Well, that's all I've got for this tour on this video. Thanks for watching. Max Fisher out.